Hey guys, I'm SDN Wolf. Thanks for coming back to the channel, and this is going to be a little bit shorter intro video today because I built on this like an hour and a half and I did not click record on OBS, so we're left without any time lapse of all of this struggle, trial, and tribulations that was this area. This is one of these prime examples that I tell you all about to where you have to try to see your vision out. I absolutely hated this waterfall area the whole time I was building it. Then I started adding some of the foliage, some of the wimba tree, the downed trees, the dead trees, and it really started adding some more rapids down here at the bottom, and it really started coming together, and all of this was almost scrapped. I was like, man, I've sat here and talked about this North American stuff like all weekend, and I do not know what to do to make this happen. But once the waterfall fell into place, I had this little piece of land kind of sticking out here. And from the beginning, I knew I wanted a piece of land kind of splitting the little, I wanted this little island here, splitting the two areas of kind of like the river, if you will. And starting that, I was like, I just had rocks and some trees up on it. And it looked really cool, you know, but it was just rocks and trees. And I'm like, how can I pump this area up and really give it like a frontier, Montana, North American, you know, great wild, like wilderness feel to it? And I said, I know what I need. I need a mill out here. And so actually that's what I started with. You know, the game has like a little East Asian mill, but ended up switching it over to a trade depot just because the way the mill looked, it looked okay, but I don't think it didn't tell a good enough story as like, oh, this, you know, you're being pulled into the North American area, and there's like this really cool frontier trade post going across this wooden bridge, right? It's kind of like you make your way into the land to the animals. And that's another reason, too, I've made this walkway so long. You're probably thinking, like, man, that is a long ways back there. But as far as, like, the theming and the storytelling goes, to kind of, you know, essentially we're pulling you out of Africa here and sending you into, you know, into Montana, into big sky country out here. And I felt I needed that degree of separation for the storytelling. So that's why you kind of bend off and have this long, essentially this long kind of corridor before before you get up here, and the trade depot and the waterfall is kind of fully, fully revealed, with the river kind of going by right here off to your right. And then on the other side of this, I've got just a little hot dog stand. But yeah, you make your way across that, and check this out. I was able to salvage, remember, my old wolf's den facade here, and I've just got the glass up right now, but instead of being wolves or a grizzly bear, this is going to be my black bear exhibit over here. So see, you're essentially going to be able to look in to their den, you know, or what have you, right here, and then there'll be a larger space. You know, this is still a very, very heavy work in progress, but they'll be able to come out here as well. And I actually have the elevated path that kind of lets you look down onto their den from the other side of the rocks, but there'll also be level paths out through here as well, where you'll be able to look into them from over on this side. And of course I want to get them some water and stuff in here, but the main part that the glass looks into, this is like their whole kind of a little more secluded, the bear den area, if you will. And then of course behind the waterfall, I've got some I've just kind of really early on started some backstage support building. So see, those are like, you know, connected. You figure this would require like a massive pump house and you know, just pumps and filters and all that stuff. So that back here, this building is eventually, I think, you know, I'll make it a little more believable, but this will be like the whole waterworks pump house section of the giant waterfall. But yeah, that is kind of the story of this, guys. I don't know what I'll put on this side. Could maybe even do like maybe one of the little anteaters or something. I didn't want to do like grizzly bear. Like I figured with this land, grizzly bears need to, like they really need to have a larger enclosure. Like they need to have their own really kind of area in the land as well. So, the black bear's a little more lower ticket animal. So I figured that would be perfect to kind of greet you in the land. I didn't want to do like the gray wolves right when you come in and then the grizzly bear on this side. We'll just have to, we'll come up with something over here. Maybe even do like a frontier type restaurant and do a plaza in this area. Because you remember, like over here in front of the nocturnal house, see, we've got a little plaza where people can sit. And also over here in front of the hippo enclosure, we've got an area where people can sit and lounge around. So each of these little areas, I think it would be cool, even all the way over here, to have some nice umbrella seating to where they can like grab their hot dogs, bring it back across the bridge, and then kind of get over there and sit down and have a bite. But it was really important too, I think, to have all of that hidden. So see, when you're down here in the boats, you don't see really anything that has to do with the with the Montana, kind of like the North American frontier area. And same as over here, like if you're walking along this river path here, well, we have to fix that a little bit. That kind of breaks the immersion. But for the most part, with this big hill kind of going along the river, it really kind of just transports you into, into our little North American section here. And I can't wait to get like the bison plains going. The grizzly bears, the wolves, finish up on the next episode will most likely be finishing up on the black bear exhibit and starting on maybe this restaurant here like we talked about. But that is, those are my plans so far, guys. And I thought you'd think this is pretty cool how the river kind of splits the little trade depot. They've got the foundation. I've put it on stone, and then the top of it is like, log cabin like little balcony that the little proprietor can walk out over and kind of look over the river and fish out here. And I just thought that was really, really neat. Kind of put these planks over the regular path to kind of break that up a little bit, and then you kind of got a little more solid foundation here. And then this little bridge takes you the rest of the way over, and then of course into the black bear exhibit where you kind of come across your first creature encounter. I thought this was pretty neat. I was going to put a little fence up right here because, in a lot of zoos, there's like a little, almost like a little barrier fence to keep the kids from coming up and just like banging on the glass and all that. But I thought in a situation like this, it would be fun to let the kid, because with the rocks like this, the kids would be climbing up on the rocks and looking in the glass, and I'd kind of not like to, kind of like rob them from that. So I thought that would be really fun because, kids would be all over these rocks looking at the black bears and all that. So I've got the little bit of foliage kind of clinging on to the edge of the rocks up there. And but yeah, guys, we have some big plans for the North American area. I'm glad you guys decided to join along and see what kind of mischief we're getting in here. And of course, leave your feedback for what you think about the opening of the North American area. I know we've been talking about this for a couple episodes now, but we've just we've had so much going on with uh-oh, I think our Gariel's out again. Do you hear that? We'll have to get to that in a minute. But just really, really fun with this. I won't go over a whole detail again. If you want to see a detailed overview of the park, go back to the last episode right before this. What was that episode? It was the orangutan episode. Go check that out, and we go over each of the exhibits and kind of just hit on each of them and talk about that. Oh, a lot of you guys were talking to me about the hippos not wanting to go underneath this. I did actually see one walk all the way underneath it. So looking at the looking at the heat maps and stuff like you guys were saying, they can traverse that. We were worried like it might not be wide enough for him to go through, but I saw one she did make her way through it, got over here, kind of just stayed out in the water and turned around and went back. And another thing too, I totally redid their exhibit. Like, see how I brought it like way out here and kind of just totally tried to encompass the whole hippo area. It still didn't really make a difference to their size. Getting rid of the third hippo kind of helped a little, but I really don't know what else to do other than this is kind of like it's natural right here. They can't get up out of there. Other than to maybe bring the exhibit out here and just give them a lot more land space, and maybe do a tunnel underneath this path and let them kind of go out into that dry area. And then, obviously too, I'd get rid of that wall and move all this stuff so they could get in and out of the water from there. But my patience is kind of like, my interest has run thin with trying to give these hippos that much space. Like, that is what I was talking about. Hopefully we get into the hopefully when like a lot of people were saying, Bo and them are talking about a larger sandbox type exhibit happening, or type update happening. And I hope that really does happen, because like I said, I'm just really quickly getting over all of the space requirements and all of that. Like, I'm just ready for that to have a toggle for that. It's like, I'm just over it. Like the hippos, their required space is insanely large. Like, I think unnecessarily large. Like, if you've ever been on Kilimanjaro safaris in Animal Kingdom, they like almost have like the size of this island and a little pond in front of their little island. So that is just weird to me. I hope they give us a little fix on that to where we don't have to worry about that. There it is right there. You made it a good way over here. But anyways, that's just me kind of whining about sandbox mode. Let me know what you guys think about the North American area, and I will continue working on it and hopefully get some time-lapse footage for next time. But anyways, guys, yeah, I guess that's it then. I'll go ahead and jump on out of here, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thank you. See you.